Oh. Okay.
Everybody can hear me? Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, that's not, oh, it's a microphone to the video.
I see. Got it. I was like, I don't. Gotcha. Hey, everybody. Okay. I'm going to try to keep this as simple as possible. And then if we want to dig deeper, we can, but I want to make it relevant for you because I want each and every one of you to have a completely different understanding of. Question first, before I say what I'm going to say. Anybody ever feel like your body's doing something completely opposite of what your mind wants?
Yes.
Anyone? Great. I'm going to walk you through why and what to do about it. Got it? Y'all cool with that?
Yes.
So that's what I'm going to walk you through. I forgot what I was saying before that, but I think I covered it. So about 20,000 hours, I calculated, I was like, that's crazy. No wonder. 20,000 hours in front of human bodies watching who actually made change and who didn't. And I specifically love working with women because to me, when women set their mind to something, they're going to do it. And not always. This is probably my personal bias, but sometimes men can dig their feet in. But that's part of the process for women. I'm going to walk through why. I'm going to give you a little, you can see this up on the screens. Over there on the approach, body, business, family, health. Has anyone in here ever tried to make a change in one of those and the other three fell apart?
Every day.
Great. I'm going to walk you through all of that. They're all connected. Your body has a program. I'm going to draw over here in a second, but your body has a code it's running. It was locked in by 7, but mostly by 5. Has anyone heard of the amygdala? I think you have, right? Okay. Yes. Yes. This thing memorized everything starting from conception. So the moment you were conceived, it started memorizing the environment. It's fully formed by 13 weeks. So it's got a head start on everything, including memory, words, cognition. That's why if any of you work with clients, you do for sure, April, yes. Have any of you ever had a client that's trying to make a change and they get to the change point and they're like, I just can't, I don't know why. Okay, have any of you ever done that? That's your amygdala kicking in. There's this thing called the set point, and it controls health, wealth, and happiness, but it doesn't start with you. It started with your caregivers, specifically your bio parents. Even if they were gone, especially if they were gone. So, especially if you were adopted, or like the body stores things that we find words for later. Like, thank goodness we're not talking about trauma and mental health and physical health and all the things, but your amygdala memorizes emotions, chemicals, and environment, starting in the womb. And to go even deeper and more crazy, Emory did some studies on this with mice. This works biologically, but at one point, I believe it's in second trimester, when your mother is in your grandmother's womb, you are an egg in her ovary. So that's the direct generational connection between stuff that played out before and how we're still reacting to things that aren't real now. When I say real, I mean literal in reality, not internal experience. Anybody had an internal experience that did not match the situation? Okay, that's your amygdala firing off. Whatever's stored in your body will continue to be stored in your body. So I'm gonna give you a visual of a really easy way to think about this, and we're gonna get to that. Oh no! I'll just go through them and tell. It's all right. I'll find one that works. That could be better. Let's go for blue. Good enough. Can y'all kind of see this?
Yeah.
So there's 3 levels that a human does life at, and I'm oversimplifying this. There's the character level. Practitioners especially get this. This is where all 13 of your systems in your body that keep you alive are operating at. If that's not good, nothing else is good. This is your basic health. This is your sleeper working? Is your energy producer working? Is your thyroid system working? Is your stomach digesting food? Is your gut absorbing stuff? That's the health piece. This is a bear to fix with people and takes the longest process. I used to do this all day long. I don't like doing this anymore. Only because everything you see up there, business, family, health, will actually show up here. And I'll walk you through why. So this is 0 to 7 programming that you didn't pick. The values that your body holds above your minds. So when your body goes left and your mind goes right, that's a conflict in what your amygdala has stored as important and what your mind has stored as important. And it will trump you every time. The body makes 35 to 40,000 decisions a day without your mind's consent. Your mind gets to make 1 to 200 of them. So, the body will outvote the mind by a lot. Next is the player level. Now this is more like strategy. This is, what am I gonna do? What action am I gonna take? How am I gonna approach this? Anybody know any strategizers that never actually implement? Okay. This is where most people live. Because it is really fun to strategize because we can see what should be happening. Here's what happens. This is gonna be, let me see if red works. Nope. We'll just go with blue. And I can pull up a more fun picture. So, that's your brain. That is your amygdala. It's teeny tiny, it's like the size of an almond. The moment you're about to do something here that you have not survived before, whether that's making $10,000 a month, whether that's making it through 3 months in harmonious relationship with your partner or spouse, whether that's business going so well you're actually bored, or whether that's absolute fulfillment and joy. Has anybody ever felt numb from joy? Or like you just couldn't feel it? Crazy thing, it's the opposite end of the spectrum as rage and depression. So if you've blocked that, you've also blocked joy. Couple tidbits. So this is where we stay in our mind and never actually get into our body. But the moment we go to implement this, if our body's not on board, this amygdala will hijack. And it always goes in this order. You will have a physiological response, and that can look like a symptom. Most of the times when these go far enough, they're a diagnosable symptom. Been through it myself. Personally, I would get migraines, muscle tension, fatigue, headaches, nausea, all the things. What that is that's the VTA pulling up everything that ever went wrong before that had body code signal to it with the sensation and shows you, this is everything that you could feel if you do this. You really want to do that. That's step 1 of hijack, physiological response. Step 2 is going to be an emotion. So you actually have 2 amygdalas, one on the left side, one on the right side. The one on the right side codes for emotion. Fear is the most prominent one, but if you're so fatigued and shut down you can't feel fear, well then you can't feel fear. So you can't do anything. The number one thing that happens when the health stuff is clear is the fear signal is so big that women can't actually move forward with perceived risk. By the way, a human is 100 times more sensitive to perceived loss than gain. So, you know, all about this money, the stock market. Like, I still remember you saying the 15 days in the market. If you're not in the good days, it doesn't matter at all. But like, people look at, that's your amygdala talking. It's like, look at what we might lose. And that goes back to values level 2, which is tribe. That's spiral dynamics. We're not going to get into that. But there's a reason for all this. So loss. That's step 2. Step 3, the thought spiral. Anybody ever get caught in the thought spiral of what if this, what if that, what if this, what if that? You're stuck here, and that's step 3 of the hijack phase. It looks a lot like planning. Forever. Then we get to programmer. And that is the code you're running that you don't even know you're running because you can't identify it with words or memory because it happened before you got that. So, physiological response that's scary if you don't understand what you're experiencing. Like, it can even feel like, pressure on your chest, like all the things that can lead to being in a hot, it can feel pretty intense. Physiological response, emotional response. By the way, if you ever feel an emotion longer than 90 seconds, there's a lot more than the emotion involved. Primary emotion lasts 90 seconds. The thoughts And then what usually happens? Anybody ever like go on anyway, or does most everybody like loop back?
You cycle the thought.
Yeah, that's getting caught in the thought spiral, preventing action. So common. There's lots of words for this now. Overthinking, imposter syndrome, insecure, like all the words, and they're real, but the way out is to be able to understand, okay, I'm hijacked here. What code am I running? Or like, what is my body actually afraid of? If you can rule out death, do it anyway. Like if you're not actually going to die, do the thing anyway. And that's how you rewrite it here. But that's easier said than done. I'm gonna give you a really easy example. One of my coaches has a son who's 6, and he's learned this before 7, meaning it's going to stay with him forever. He's afraid of water. In German New Medicine, that's a water conflict that can lead to money conflict later. Too much water dangerous, too much money dangerous. Weird correlation, but it happens. Think about what we use to describe money. Flow of money. Currents. What's the court system called? It's the water system. You know what I'm talking about? If you go into a court of law, there's the law of the land and the law of the water. I don't remember what the word is, but it codes for water. It's like the law that, like the people who, the rescuers in water go by. I can't, it starts with an M.
Maritime?
Yes, maritime law. That's water law. Water and money are like this, y'all. I was terrified of the toilet flushing when I was little, but it started with, I'll tell you about this, it started with a stepdad who was an alcoholic who like backhanded me, my nose bled. That's a threat to life as a child, which is associated with too much water is bad, and later in life too much money is dangerous. So anyway, went kind of deep there. But where was I? Yeah, so understanding what your body's responding to that is not actually relevant in reality requires a certain amount of like cognitive presence. Oh, my coach's little boy, he's afraid of water. That's where this came from. He'll stand on the edge of the pool. What he'll do, because it's the one move, I'm gonna walk you through the one move. This is how to get out of it. He will walk through the either or. He'll say to himself, and my coach said this is the coolest thing. He'll stand on the side of the pool and be like, okay, I'm afraid right now. What does that mean? That means this is an opportunity, because fear is literally the same emotion as excitement. It's just two sides of the same coin. What's gonna happen if I jump? Okay, I may go to the bottom, but what'll happen then? Dad's gonna get me out of here. Will I die? I haven't yet. Will I probably die? Probably not. Okay, I'm gonna jump. He does that every time, and what he's doing is building the neurology of I'm safe. So there's 3 pieces to this: thinking, neurology, and environment. If you're not in an environment that supports you to do this and move out of where you're at, then it's gonna be really hard. And that environment turns into your business. That's actually the last thing impacted. The first thing impacted is your body. Second thing is relationships. Third thing, money. So a body heals in health first, then relationship with others that'll be reflected back, but that's a reflection of self, then money. Okay, now that I got all of that out of the way, we're gonna walk through this.
Can you tell me what the psychological hijack 1, 2, and 3 was again?
Yeah, 1 is a physiological response. And it can even be bored, like this can even be, I'm bored. So like there's a spectrum of human emotion. Insert any of them, including joy, because with ADHD, like I can get joyful hijacked and just stop doing what I was doing. So it's not just one emotion, but there are some that are a lot more fun to experience than others. So there's physiological response, emotional reaction, the mental talk, the internal talk, and then the decision point. Most of the time, the body will outvote us if we don't know what we're looking at. I even know this, and I still have to stop myself a lot. Yes.
This is how I stopped hijacking, was to ask myself, am I going to die?
Yeah.
As a marketing
Yeah.
exec now, there's no scenario in which my job
Right.
would end in death to anyone.
Yes. Yes. You gotta rule out death and then
Right.
time. If you're not gonna die to it. Now, I'm not a medical doctor, this is not medical advice, okay? So let's look at this. Every decision point you make, like before this one move, you will get hijacked. There's no way around it. And the bigger the move will impact your life, the more pronounced it will be. Like if I was about to be in front of a stage of 10,000 people, that would feel a little different than 200 people, would feel a little different than this. Like they're all different. But yeah, the last time I remember getting really hijacked, I was in a plane about to jump out and there was no going back. But I opted in because I wanted to. So anyway, you will always get hijacked before this. There's no way around it. That's how you know you're about to expand your amygdala set point, because your amygdala will work in your favor if it has memorized the good things to do. We typically notice the things that aren't working as humans. So you will get hijacked here. You will be tested, the R3. Once you pass those, there will be a new identity. Repeat forever. Forever. Have y'all seen The Hero's Journey? So every movie follows the hero's journey. It's usually a double hero's journey. It's like something happens that they can control and then they choose to do it anyway, and then something else happens they can't control, and then do they choose anyway because now it's out of their control. And that's actually one of the 3 tests that we'll walk through. And the reason body, business, family, health is over there is those are the things that will throw illusions that look like we're not supposed to do this. Usually in the form of another person that you deeply care about. Is for me anyway. Okay, so these are the 3 steps. So every time there's one thing to do that's a decision between current you and new you. It's usually the thing you've been working around or trying to figure out and prepping to do instead of just doing it. Does anybody have that thing in mind? That you're like, I've been needing to do this thing, or I've been intending to do this thing, and I know that thing would lead to things, but I'm preparing for that thing because I'm not ready yet. Anybody have an example?
Everything.
Got a specific
Literally.
one? Got a specific one? You don't have to share, but like.
Well, I've overcome something recently. I sat on an outline for a program that I'm creating for 6 months. I was doing it for a company.
Yeah.
And then they said, this is great, but we really want to address these 4 things. So I have this outline. And I was like, well, it's a great program. I need to create it for someone. And so I am in the midst of creating it. I've put out the waiting list anyway. It's not done yet.
Yeah.
It may not even be done when I start it.
Yeah.
Right? Because we need feedback. So I wouldn't do that. I would just work on it for the next
Love
2
that.
years.
Love that. How'd you feel after doing it?
After getting the waiting list out?
Yeah.
Great.
Huge sense of relief.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, oh.
Now I have to do it.
So usually where I see this with women is saying exactly what they think in a public platform, social media, email list, significant other, versus holding it back. And by the way, if you hold it back and you feel it in your throat, that's energy's got to go somewhere, and it's going to go back down here and start creating health problems. I could get into the science, we'll be here forever. Holding your words back is the biggest thing that I see with women who have any kind of autoimmune disorder. That's been the one correlation. And Dr. Gabor Mate talks about this in The Myth of Normal, and there's another one he talks about that in, but the women that I've worked with on the health thing before the success thing, most of them had an autoimmune disorder. One had 8 of them, but she had been stuffing her words since she was born. And as a child, by 2, you're supposed to be able to express anger. That's like level 3 in spiral dynamics. If you don't do that and you were told, be seen and not heard, or we don't get mad here, you weren't taught how to express it, and loved anyway, your body correlated boundaries with loss of connection. And that will continue to play out for the rest of your life in different ways. Until you put your foot down at the potential cost of, usually it ends up looking like you're gonna lose this. Like the love of a family member or significant other. I hate to say it, but that's usually what it comes down to, and it almost never happens, but it's a really good illusion. Y'all seen the movie The Matrix? This is literally people's amygdalas battling. Like, I don't know if y'all get spiritual, but we all come into, this makes the most sense to me on the invisible. We all come in with people that naturally resonate with what we came in with coding wise. To change that, you're going to change the nature of the relationship with someone else did not sign off on mentally, and they will usually fight tooth and nail until they know you're serious. And then like, oh, it's probably better this way anyway, thanks. But so there's usually one move, and sometimes it's not obvious if you're a really good action taker. Like sometimes for me it's not obvious because I take a lot of action, but it's like a completely different action. Like, oh, maybe just don't make my list 17 miles long and just put something out there. So the next, once you do the one move, there's gonna be a test. 3 tests actually, calibration curve. Test 1 is like yourself, doing it yourself, deciding yourself, because your body will convince you that I'm too tired, I don't have enough time, I'm not ready yet. Who am I to do this? They're not gonna pay that price. They're gonna get mad at me if I ask them this thing, all the things. Then there's gonna be an external circumstance, and that's gonna look like something you absolutely cannot control. It's easy to just call this a God thing. It's like, man, that was a universe thing or a God thing. What happened? There's nothing I could have done to change that. It's the second test. The third test, and they don't go in this order, is gonna be almost always another human. Sometimes multiple times if you only half put your foot down, it will happen until you're like, no, this is what I'm doing. And the illusion will look like loss to your amygdala, even though the opportunity on the other side is something completely different. Whether it's loss of income, loss of love, loss of something, it will look like loss. So, the free will test, the universal test, and the neurological test. Your body will literally build neurology, like there are actual tracks in your body that will build, where this will get easier. So the more you do this, the easier it gets. And the more other people will respond differently. It's wild. It's not that. And then that's where a new identity comes. So the strategy thing is great at keeping us still, but you cannot steer a parked car, y'all. If you're moving, you can at least collect data and course correct, as long as you're not driving yourself. But amygdalas are great, especially if your body ever learned the freeze response. There's all kinds of ways this plays out. Freeze to shut down, spin up, shut down, and then freeze mode or something in between. That's usually what a body does that has a lot of energy still hanging out here that doesn't know how to be expressed or how to be processed. My body would actually stuff things under a rug without me knowing. I have no idea. So getting into movement, that's the fastest way to develop the new identity quickly. And I think that's the last one. I do have other pictures to show the physiological response if you don't want to see them. Does anybody have questions? Do you like this? Okay, let me see here. So this is part of, how do I make this bigger?
You double click the top bar.
There we go. All right. So that's the gingerbread man drawing. So this down here represents the quarter of your body reserved for the 13 systems that run you and your health. That should never change, and if it does, there's been significant, what's the word here? Significant, rejection of self isn't the right word, but
Disruption?
Prolonged disruption that's just become a way of life. The environment.
Domestic violence or something.
Yeah, that, or even walking on eggshells for your whole life, just never being able to even speak your piece without incurring massive consequence. I like to call that outdated intelligence. I don't even like using the word trauma anymore. It applies, but your body is always adapting intelligently every single time. It's when the adaptation no longer gets us to a goal that it's actually holding us back now. And it's really hard to undo because we were designed to have everything we need by 7 to thrive. That's just not the case here in Western world. Let's see here. Here's the original hijack loop. So you're gonna get hijacked. You're gonna have a programmer moment where you're like, I know what's happening. This has happened before. Y'all ever go through a thing and you're like, this is the pattern. That's when you understand, okay, my body's trying to get me to go there. I need to go here. That's the one move. Strategy isn't effective here. You just have to rip the Band-Aid off and do it. Like the last client who had a meltdown before sending an email, that email got 6 replies and 10 reach outs on social media. She was like melting down crying and didn't know why, because the little girl in her, she had a history of DV with her parents. She didn't know why. She thought she was going to get in trouble. But that was her stepping into, these are my words and I get to say my piece and it gets to be messy. Her audience resonated so much with that she was like, I'm gonna fill this event on accident. Oops. And then one of her tests was someone who certified her in her trauma conscious things called her on the carpet about her usage of words. That was a test. She passed. Now there were more, right? But like, it wasn't a big deal, but it felt like it was a big deal. It felt like she just got in trouble. So that's the one move. When you pass the 3 tests, the one for wiring in your body, the one from the universe, because it'll change how things come to you, and the one for your free will, like that's the one most people miss. Not from their own, but from someone else. It's like most people are terrified of the other person's free will test, because when you're going through these, the other people in your life will be going through these too, and it really it sucks to watch other people continue bumping around when they don't have to. And that's another thing that holds women back, is staying where everyone else is versus just going ahead and leading and letting others follow, because they will. They sure will. So the free will tests, and you can pass that one, you're good. And then that's where your code is actually rewritten. You'll feel different. That's like what you felt when you're like, all right, your body coded that as safe now. It's like, okay, this is what we did. Yeah.
I was gonna say, this is so intriguing because I've done this and I didn't know
That's what's
I've
happening.
done it over and over.
Every time.
Same my marriage this way.
Yeah. There's people who have mastered this that don't know what they've mastered. So awesome.
I used to wait for my husband to be real grumpy at home and
Yeah.
I'd be overly, like, ridiculously happy. So he would go upstairs and leave. So that was that free will test.
It's totally
I would
mismatched.
be like, yes, he's grumpy. I'm gonna do it now.
What you did was you literally sent him out because he couldn't match your frequency and yours was
Right.
stronger.
I didn't know that's what I was doing.
That's what you were doing.
Amazing.
That's what you were doing. And then it works every time. It's replicable.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do I do a certification for practitioners for this or not? I don't know. But it's great for relationships. It's great for business. There's the much better drawing of character player programmer. Y'all, I should have started with this. I should have started with this. This is your body. You got what you got, and it's amazing. And it's doing a lot of work on your behalf. It just needs help from your mind to like, you will be hijacked. We'll see what part of the game to change, or you'll at least be like, okay, this shouldn't still be happening. Apply it here. All right, let's see what else I got for you. This is in my Ultimate Body First bundle. Okay, here's the set point. So, have y'all seen the Hunger Games? Okay, you know the dome that like Katniss and her little crew is in, and they didn't know they were in the dome, but the moment they touched it, it like blew them all back. That is exactly what your amygdala will do. It's known you before anyone. It knows everything about you. It will deploy. Okay, people with kids and probably spouses will get this. The moment you make a new decision, like the stakes raise, right? Like, they're like, okay, well, let's raise the stakes higher. Your body will do this. So Katniss and the folks in the dome didn't know it was there until they had to go to extreme measures to get out. That's what it feels like when you're moving this set point, by the way. And to the outside world, it'll look very logical and like you're doing the right thing, but inside it can feel like you're scary. Terrifying. You will face every emotion that has been stored in your body from the beginning and then passed down generationally. So I used to wake up with dread for no reason. Just dread. That was passed down from my mom's line. So when you reach the side of that, whether it's going for more money, going for deeper, more happy relationships, going for a relationship in the first place, or deciding you're going to do life your way, happiness, peace, you will hit this. That's the hijack moment. Your amygdala's gonna activate. If it didn't, it wouldn't be doing its job. If it didn't, you would walk in front of a car and not even care. So it will activate because it sees any change, even positive change, as a threat. It will activate a protective strategy to keep you inside of the safe dome. Remember everything you've survived that you don't remember you've survived. And one way to think of this is, have any of you ever done a lot of work and made a lot of moves and be like, man, I feel like I'm living the life that my mom or dad did, even though I intended to never do that? I have. Been like, I think I'm seeing them in myself. What's happening? Oh my god! So that's what your amygdala understands. It came from lineage. Emotion will course through your body with that physiological response, and then there will be a narrative to make it make sense. Because if it doesn't make sense, that's cognitive dissonance. And you have to be a little bit crazy to be able to do this, because you have to be able to manage cognitive dissonance. Like, okay, there's a lot happening right now. I feel this way, and I feel that way, and they feel that way, and I'm gonna do this anyway, instead of just like staying here and making it make sense. So have y'all ever heard that like those crazy good entrepreneurs are just a little delusional? That, yeah. You gotta be a little bit. You gotta be a little delusional, because your body's smart. You're gonna be fighting stored motives, values, and beliefs that you didn't know existed until you come up to the one move, and then all of a sudden, you're gonna feel that and be like, I don't know why, but this feels really bad. Let's see. That is the picture of what happens in what order. Change comes in, even if it's good. Example, saying no to someone that may guilt you forever. Or like saying yes to the thing that's scary, or deciding you're gonna double your prices, or deciding you're gonna say whatever the heck you think on a social media post, or telling somebody no, that just, you know how they're gonna react. Sometimes it's giving up habit, y'all. Because habits, again, serve something. Like if there's this deep identity going on that does not match who you really are, that's where habits will come in to soothe the nervous system because of the dissonance. Different look. Alright, so there will be a sensation that's going to be faster than you can experience. That's like the stomach jumping up in your throat, sweat happening, your face got flushed, all those things. You got it? Like hair standing up, walking into a room, you're like, I shouldn't be here. This is bad. That's then the emotion, and again, most of the time that's going to be from the womb, because a lot of times it's hard to name them, and there may be multiples. Anybody ever experienced that? And then there's going to be the thought process. So, let's see if there's anything else.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about a personal experience and where I am in that personal experience. Because I feel like it fits there somewhere, but I can't tell where. So, August, September, October, I was in a leadership program that stretched me immensely. Things came up in that program with leadership that I was able to talk through. So how am I pulling myself back because of ADHD? Why am I not coming to the table? And then there was questions around, well, April, why do you keep running into that same wall of frustration in certain situations? And I was able to determine through that process, I need clarity and I need direct communication. But I also determined I want to come to the table with everything that I bring, and my expectation is that the other people listen to understand who I am and what I'm bringing to the table. We know most people are not able to do that. And so there is this, like almost what I would call an awakening, I don't know what to call it, where I am now standing in my shoes and what I had expectations of in my life and around me. And I've been going to therapy now for like 3 years. Like all of these things kind of came together where I was talking about this earlier, and I'm like pinning it to what you're saying. My Ritalin's not working anymore. When I talked to my psychiatrist about it, she was like, do you have bipolar in your family? I'm like, no, but also this is not a sustained high. This is a where I'm at now, where I am super, I don't want to say energized, but my Ritalin's not working, so my motor's going all the time.
Yeah.
And I feel very confident in where I'm at, but I also feel like I made a breakthrough in something, but now I don't know what to do on the other side.
Can I give you my opinion?
Yes, please.
I don't know, but if I were to know, this sounds like that point where you now should be in that leadership position where you make your own thing and you're bringing your own people. Because like creativity needs a lot of space to flow, like lots of creativity. I tried a lot of those medications. Like when my creativity isn't flowing, it feels like a death sentence because that's what I require now. I mean, there's business strategy, but there's so like the world. Have you seen the book The Creative Act by Rick Rubin? So he's a record producer. It's really good. This is getting a little esoteric, but there are ideas meant to come into this world at a specific time, and it's not human specific. Like all of us have different gifts. I believe neurodivergence and ADHD is a gift. It's been overlooked and diminished and kept small, but I believe it's like we're super sensitive. We feel what nobody else feels. We know what people aren't saying that they're harboring. And it's so uncomfortable that like we can't exist in it, but like to me that would be an amazing world when everybody just like shared raw. Nothing's gonna store anymore. So that book talks about ideas will flow into the universe. Ideas have their time and they're gonna flow. It's just who's gonna be ready. I don't know, so it just sounds like you're.
I'm so curious what you mean by it's not working.
Yeah.
The medicine.
The medicine.
You might not need it. It may actually be capping you.
Yeah, so I didn't know I had ADHD until I was studying for the CFP, and I was like 7 hours on 2 chapters. It was ridiculous. I go see someone, and then like social media, I start learning about ADHD, and I see all these things, right? So some of the things that my ADHD does, like who I am, is I was always an internal motor, but now I'm an external motor. Like I cannot not talk all the time and move and like stand up and all of that. And then also time management out the window. It was phenomenal when the medicine was working. I was early, I was on time. I could see a straight timeline instead of multiple timelines at one time.
Yeah.
And then also like the emotional regulation around it.
Yeah.
It's less like outburst emotional regulation, and now more like this internal frustration that I'm having to deal with all these other things when I want to deal here. And I know there's more than just those things. So
the damper is off. Like
with the medicine is not controlling that anymore. And I'm not saying I need it to control it. I'm just like recognizing I dropped the mask.
Yeah.
I can't put it back.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting. Like I'm now 40 and I want to look at my 9-year-old and help him put the mask on and take it off.
Yeah.
Where I can't. It's been very difficult for me at 40 to mask, take it off, and like there are certain situations I need to put it back on.
Yeah.
And I can't. I mean, it's a struggle. And so I want to help him put it on, take it off, like practice that through life while he's young. But the other part that I'm seeing is now I have a new leadership, and his style, I came to the table, was like, this is how I communicate, this is my expectation. He's
keep
not
talking.
that way, and that's been very difficult. But my thought is like, where in that am I? Because I do feel like I'm on the other side of something, but I don't know what it is.
So this
And
is
then
part
what
of
to
it.
expect next.
Oh no, this is good.
Doc, I have a question.
Yeah.
Could it be ADHD specialist? Here, so I want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Could it be a little bit hormonal? I'm not saying maybe she doesn't need to release some of the adrenaline, right?
Yeah.
To let the creativity flow, but could
I did start
it be
glutathione about the same time I started glutathione and a vitamin B shot.
Yeah.
It
It could be all of it.
like low estrogen, you need that for dopamine reception, right? So
Could be all of it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I don't want to turn little cogs anymore.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering, like, it may not be a, like, don't take
Totally.
it at all. It could be reduce it, but also look at some other things.
I'm all about experimenting with my own
Yeah.
body, and I'll take it to one extreme and then another extreme, and then figure out, okay, where does my body like to go, and I will always accommodate it first now. So, spiral dynamics, I think you're between levels. These are called transformational dilemmas. This is like when the person involved and like, I'm not going back, and I can't, and I don't really care what happens. Exist. Alright, circle 3. Way. 4 rules roles. I have a picture of this somewhere, but this is better. 5. Entrepreneur. 6. Like world mission. Okay. So this is spiral dynamics, and we're all going through it all the time, and the world also is at a certain tier, and that's where like frequency and consciousness and mass consciousness comes in. You probably know about Dr. David Hawkins and his work with it. Okay, so the world is starting to shift here now, which means there's going to be a lot of polarity going on. There's going to be a lot of people who have this opinion, a lot of people who have this opinion, and it's going to look like the whole world's going to fight for a minute. Level 1 is I exist. This is usually newborns and really elderly who can't care for themselves. They have to have somebody to care for them. Level 2, this is belonging. This is the first tribal. This is I belong, but I have to follow the leader and play by the rules. And these are all important. Level 2 is a lot of what else? It's like cults, religions, not negative. It's just like there are rules and you follow them because you don't get to ask questions. Level 3 is it's gonna go my way. I'm not following the leader anymore. That's like the terrible twos when they learn the word no. And some people never get out of this. This can even look like narcissistic tendencies because they've never moved through this. They just can't quite move through that. And people will go through this like for the rest of their like versions of this through the rest of their lives as they evolve. 4 is roles and roles. It's your role is more important than you. This is systems, government, banking systems, school systems. 5 is entrepreneurship and leader. It's like, F the system, I'm gonna do my thing. This is like, I have something to bring and I'm gonna master my external resources regardless, and I'm not going to be dictated anymore. And this isn't negative, this is very important, but the odds are very human-centric. The evens are very other-centric. A lot of women get really stuck in the evens because we're nurturing by nature, and we just can't evolve through the odds. 6 is, there's a mission bigger than myself. There's a thing called 6 and a 4 cup where it's like, I don't want to, I have a big mission, but I'm gonna just give and never get. It's called 6 and a 4 cup. There's like the thinking, the environment, and the action, but this and this requires selfishness. So does this, because you can't fully get to the next level until you do it. This is typically the hardest, second hardest to just show up. This is like Elvis on his best day, he didn't care. People loved him and people hated him, but he had a following. He did not follow the rules. And 6, you know, it's like charity, giving away. 7, this is like Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, all the people who are pretty polar, and you may love them or hate them, but they have really influenced the world because they've integrated everything else. And these people will be more efficient than a room full of all these because they've integrated all of it and can go in and out without causing harm, but it may look like harm. Someone will feel harmed by what they do. And 8, this is tier 2 consciousness where the world has integrated all of this. And so there's like some universal stuff going on now too, where people are like, I can't not anymore, especially women. But that's like the big world view, not necessarily the personal view, but like we're all connected. So I don't know if that helped or if that was just like, sounded crazy.
So you're in one of these stages.
Yeah, I would say you're probably integrating a lot of this and being like, okay, there's some systems that actually hold me back instead of support me forward.
Yeah.
So, like moving through the stages, once you fully integrate one, it has to be let go of to move to the other one. So there's gonna be like I ignored this for a very long time and went for this, but that's why I went to burnout because I didn't develop a system that would support me in my business. I'm working on this pretty hardcore. It's happening. This is the slowest thing to happen, but once this is built that supports this, it's like nobody can control you. It's a really bad, in a negative way.
Can I ask if this is what you mean by, like, for her specific situation? So, in other words, you feel like it's not working, but what's really could be happening is that you're just at this next level, and nothing's gonna work the way that it used to work. because you
Mhm.
graduated.
Right.
Yeah.
So like working will be defined differently.
Right.
Okay.
I can
that
definitely
was
see that.
Transformational dilemma, yeah. It's like, that won't work for me anymore. I have to make some of my own rules now. And
I've really embraced the ADHD part of myself and understanding how I've held myself back in life because of how others interpreted me and where I fit in the space of other people and how I would mask myself.
Yeah.
And that is not moving a lot, it's not talking a lot, it's not asking the questions. Now I realized over life I put myself in a place of power by being quiet. So I understood silence was power. So if I could not integrate myself in relationship wise, which y'all all know my story with women influencers, I wanted more women. And, you know, I started building those relationships. But at the same time, like in the business space, I kept myself at this other level because I knew nobody liked me.
Oh yeah.
And there were in the question that she asked me is where else is this happening? And I directly tied it back to leadership circles who they didn't like what I brought because I brought other thought. So like I brought the thought 15 years from now, I brought the not just standard thought in a process. And to me it's just data.
Yeah.
But other people interpret that as April knows everything or April never shuts up or you know whatever, and nobody said that to me, right? I just see body language.
Yeah.
And so like I'm now in a space where I want other people to like me who are open to having really good like information sharing without this that's too much or that's not a good idea or whatever. Because to me it's just all data. You know?
Yeah.
Without judgmental,
Yeah.
because who I am is what I bring to the table, and my expectation is you bring yourself. But we also know not everyone will do that because I didn't until recently.
Oh yeah. Well, I brought that up because this kind of goes with what you're saying. Those question marks along the line, like everyone is born with a purpose, with a vision inside of it. It's just the ability to see the future. But in human form, like our physicality is perceived limited by what we can envision future. So like bringing something closer to us generally makes it seem easier to act. But those question marks along the way, those what will potentially stop us and loop back, whether it's hijacked or whether it's an actual detour to gain resources, connections, or skills. So I don't know why I brought that up now, but it like sounds like you're just loading up on whatever you need to just show up as fully you, regardless of who thinks what, and they can go through the door that way.
I mean, I still don't have a relationship with them.
For
but
sure.
I'm learning to just speak it.
Yeah.
So let me talk through this, or this is what I'm bringing to the table. This is what I would expect. Like just speaking that with the relationships that I have, so that they know that I'm not overpowering. I'm not too much. I'm not, all over the place. This is literally who I am. This is what I bring. I bring a lot of data. So help me corral it. If you're good at it, help me. Like let's work together. Let me help you over here, and you help me over here.
So like letting them sit in their own discomfort with what you bring, that's really valuable.
And a lot of leaders don't like that.
Yeah.
So So I'm like constantly bumping. I'm bumping.
It's like new era leadership.
I'm like,
Of course, new era leadership.
yeah.
And when you make this change, it's a lonely spot for a
Oh,
while.
yes.
Because you're looking.
That's this
for-
right here.
Yeah, you're looking
Loneliness
for
is
other
your trouble.
people that think the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Because you want to communicate with them. You want to exchange those ideas. And so you gotta find a new tribe.
There will be a vacuum for a while.
I also would like to question the perception of them not liking you or not liking your thoughts or not liking your behavior. How much of that is internal being projected out?
Right.
From
Oh no,
them.
I'm sure it's a lot.
Like from
Because
you,
all
not
of
like
my
because I
life-
did that my whole life.
Yeah.
I don't like me, and this is why.
Mhm.
So I thought, oh, they don't like me, and this is why.
Yeah, everybody's got their filters.
Right. And then there may be some of that, right?
And then the
How
question
much
is,
it?
why do you not like me though? And it's because someone else has
Programming.
ingrained in us to not
Right.
like it. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I always say I'm probably just perceiving this.
No, not all of it. I'm just
Yeah.
wondering, like, pushing back on, oh, well, did they say that I talk too much or that they don't like my thoughts and my idea? Did they say it?
No.
There's something really empowering though about being able to express your internal experience, whether someone said or didn't say something, and being
Yes,
able to just.
I'm not saying always
Yeah.
question
I'm not
it, but
taking
I've
this
had
negative.
to.
Yeah.
I've
I'm
had
like,
to push through the test by
Yeah.
saying, well, if they didn't say it and
Yeah.
I haven't asked, I'm gonna go about as if it's not
Exactly.
even true.
yeah. Yep.
Until it is.
Yep. Exactly.
That's what I tell my kids. Like, you gotta talk about it.
Yeah.
You just expect
Totally.
someone to know and understand. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
100%. All right, I'm gonna erase this. Hopefully, I
Any
didn't go
other
over it.
questions? Oh,
Yeah.
we're over, but.
Anybody got questions? There's a book, like, the book download is on your thingamajigger. I have a video walkthrough on it if you're like, oh, this is pretty cool.
I do have one question.
Yeah.
In any part of that, where does anxiety fall into play?
Oh, the
Or
strategy of like, what does this mean? What does this mean?
Yeah.
Like the feeling your body can't. Russell, what's his name? There's a really good book on that called Anxiety RX. Explains the difference between body panic and the mental stuff.
Mhm.
It's a combo of like your body's stored signal, your amygdala like being on hyperdrive, ready to pushing the button when there's nothing to push.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's yes. I lived with it for like 20 years. It's usually rooted in us, rooted in so many things, but for me it was rooted in an overly critical caregiver that if I didn't have everything perfect or have it figured out, like I was ignored or who knew what. So I was like always calculating in my mind of, did I get it right? Did I miss something? Instead I'm like, I'm gonna make mistakes, it's fine.
Does that fall into the player category,
Yeah.
the strategy, and then also on the hijack, like maybe the physical response or the
Yes.
thought spiral?
Yes, all of that. I had a client that would thought spiral for 6 hours on her couch at one point. Like if she didn't have to go to work that day, she would be stuck on her couch, her words, doom scrolling, trying not to think and feel what she was thinking and feeling. It was just this massive strategy.
Yeah, I noticed when my anxiety is like extremely high, I'll start to jitter,
Mhm.
but I zone out.
Yeah.
Like if you see me zoning out, just like leave me alone.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to escape from
Yeah.
all of the things.
Yes.
So.
Yes,
Okay.
that's one way the nervous system will regulate to avoid like blowing a fuse, is it'll go into that mode.
I have a question. You talk about generational trauma from like the mother's side, but is that also applicable from the father's?
Yeah, the Emory study actually studied male mice who experienced shocks with cherry blossoms. The females were not exposed, which was surprising to me. And so the fear from the father's side was passed down 2 generations without the mice even being exposed to a
I got
shock.
a lot of that then.
Yeah.
My dad was physically and mentally
Yeah.
abused.
It's I'm so sorry. And
And now my daughter is exhibiting
Yeah.
all of that too.
it like gets passed down and amplified until someone like does the digging and for me it felt like experiencing like 17 generations of what I didn't ask for. But it's like I wouldn't take it back now. I'm like, I wake up pretty good and there's only so much I can control and I'm gonna do what I can versus April actually saw me at some of my worst times several years ago.
I wouldn't have known it was your worst.
Oh, I was like panicked. The weird thing is, like with whatever relationship we have in partnership that's exhibited from caregivers, that's usually what translates to money later. That I was like anxious avoidant with money. I was like, I'm afraid to get it, I'm afraid to spend it. Having it is bad, not having it, it was just this weird thing. It played out with,
conversations.
yeah, I remember those. You were like calming me down. I'm like, man, it's come a long way. She could only sit down with me and I'd be like, Caroline, for these questions. Anyway, okay. Any other questions? Cool.
Thank you. And just quick reminder, everyone, if you're watching this all the way to the end, you can reach out to her. I've tagged her in this, and then if you want to share that QR code on there,
Oh, it's on their papers.
on the video,
Ah.
you can like just go share it in the comments if you want to, but you don't have to.
Okay, I'll share it.
Yeah.
I'll
No,
share
no, no, you don't have to. I was telling. Don't feel like you're obligated to share. I don't know how wide you want it to go.
Oh
'cause it
yeah,
will
for
be
sure.
video.
For sure,
So if you're here, you got it.
It'll
you
be
don't-
later
Yeah.
today if I can
Okay.
get it to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we'll see y'all in January, not in December.